Chapter 1821, Gaining Heaven Form Again. Chapter 1821 Gaining Heaven Form Again. Heavenly Court. Qin Ding Ling stood on Heaven Overseeing Tower as she looked at the scenery of Heavenly Court, showing a look of nostalgia. A long time later, she sighed softly, even though the changes are huge, I can still vaguely remember the scenery of 300,000 years ago in my memories. Beside her stood Fairy Ziwei. Fairy Ziwei had a reverent expression. This senior female immortal here could not compare to Duke Long's seniority, but she had a huge background as well. She was originally a certain generation's first supreme elder of Central Continent's 10 great ancient sects, Heaven's Envy Manor. The day before she was going to become a member of Heavenly Court, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable made one declaration and she was forced to be his concubine. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable collected a harem and had many concubine palaces. They were present in southern border, northern plains, western desert, eastern sea, and central continent. Qin Ding Ling was the immortal empress of Central Continent's concubine palace in her time. After Giant Sun Immortal Venerable died, Qin Ding Ling vanished mysteriously, but to think that she would appear a few days ago. Senior Qin Ding Ling's identity is not false, but according to history, she cultivated Metal Path. Why did she transform into a Luck Path Gu immortal? Fairy Ziwei had questions in her mind. At this time, Qin Ding Ling suddenly turned around. There was a sharp light in her gaze that could see through worldly affairs. She was not a beauty in the most traditional sense, even though her nose bridge was tall, the tip of her nose was a little sharp, her lips were thin and her eyes were thin and long. However, when blended together, she had a unique sense of beauty. Her appearance would be deeply engraved into people's hearts when they see her. She was taller than normal people, her shoulders were broad, she stood straight and had a heroic aura. She wore a huge cape on her back that extended from her shoulders to the ground. The cape was made of a special material, it seemed to be made from pieces of golden armor. When put together, from time to time, golden light would flow along the cape in thin waves. The broad cape emphasized the beauty of her majestic body. Especially her long legs, they were also covered in armor that were black and golden in color. She had outstanding presence, she was like a born royalty that ruled above the common man. When she looked at people, because of her height, she often had to look down. She had an authoritative aura that was fermented naturally within her. People would lower their heads and not dare to look at her directly, it was as if they could only look at her feet in order to not offend her. Qin Ding Ling spoke lightly, Fairy Ziwei, I know the questions you have. The truth is, I had intentionally gone missing. Back then, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable was invincible in the world, he controlled the entire era, nobody could resist him. Thankfully, he was not a demon venerable, even though I was forced to be his immortal empress, I also had my own objectives, that was to learn the profundity of Luck Path from him. After Giant Sun Immortal Venerable died, I gained a lot of insight, I decided to abandon Metal Path and cultivate Luck Path. But I already had rank 8 cultivation level back then, the risks were too great if I were to cultivate Luck Path. I gained the help of Heavenly Court and obtained a chance to hibernate. I also abandoned all of my Metal Path Dao marks and turned them into a metal coffin in which I was buried deep within the earth vein, entering closed cultivation to comprehend Luck Path. This slumber continued for 300,000 years, when I woke up, the world had already changed beyond my comprehension. Qin Ding Ling's tone was filled with deep emotions. 300,000 years later, everything had changed. The huge shadow cast down upon her, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable, had died long ago. After him, there were Spectral Soul Demon Venerable and Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable. Right now, the world was facing the wave of the Great Era, all sorts of prophecies and signs showed that a Supreme Venerable was going to appear. So that's it. Fairy Ziwei let out a breath of air, joy was expressed on her face, Senior, you came at the perfect timing. I must admit fault for this, Heavenly Court failed time and time again. One of the reasons for this was our weakness in Luck Path, we were restrained and often lost to that demon. Qin Ding Ling nodded, I've seen the information, to think that a demon like Fang Yuan emerged. This is very rare even in human history. However, don't think too lowly of yourself, your decisions were not wrong, it was just that the enemy is too crafty and has multiple venerable inheritances. Especially the latter, it made Fang Yuan extremely hard to deal with. I am afraid that the reason I woke up this time is also most likely to deal with Fang Yuan. Fairy Ziwei was surprised, what does Senior mean by that? Qin Ding Ling smiled with deep meaning. Fairy Zi Wei, there is profundity in my awakening. Let me ask you, who woke me up? It was Gu Yufang Zheng. Exactly. Qin Ding Ling said slowly, the otherworldly demon does not exist within fate, it is an anomaly of the world. Heavens will try to use this pawn against spectral soul's heaven-defying attempt, it naturally created a way to restrain the otherworldly demon too. Like how the antidote for a venomous snake often exists near it, Gu Fangzheng is the safety measure that the heavenly Tao created against Fang Yuan. As she said this, Qin Ding Ling looked at Fairy Zi Wei with an expression of praise. You know little about luck path, but you managed to deduce this and nurtured Fangzheng to become an immortal. It was not easy. I do not deserve this praise, this junior was only doing her best to defend heavenly court, and protect the righteousness of humanity. Ha ha ha, well said, this is the spirit of heavenly court, even after 300,000 years, it has not changed. Qin Ding Ling chuckled as she continued saying with happiness, the otherworldly demon Fang Yuan is an uncertain variable, Gu Fangzheng is the key to restraining him, he will change as Fang Yuan changes. Spectral soul failed to defy heaven, while Fang Yuan escaped from the control of heaven's will. He is becoming stronger, he has no weaknesses and is growing extremely quickly at a shocking pace, even heavenly court is without options against him. Thus, to mend this problem, Fangzheng woke me up and caused me to interfere in this world again. Fate is constant while luck is a variable, the higher the cultivation level and strength of the Gu immortal, the stronger and grander their luck will be. This is because every thought and action of theirs can cause great changes in the surroundings. Fang Yuan has incredibly strong luck, but you nurtured Fangzheng and made him an immortal, this caused him to exert enough influence to wake me up and resist Fang Yuan's current advantage. In the future, I am sure that similar situations will continue to occur, this demon Fang Yuan will not be free for long. At this point, Qin Ding Ling instructed Fairy Zi Wei, you need to continue putting in resources to nurture Fangzheng and ensure his safety. As long as we have him, we can follow the arrangements of heaven's will, we will achieve success with less effort. Junior understands. Fairy Zi Wei's eyes shined with bright light. All along, she had not made much progress in dealing with Fang Yuan, that was because he was too crafty and well defended, Fairy Zi Wei could not deduce his whereabouts. Fairy Zi Wei knew the purpose of Gu Fangzheng but she did not place emphasis on him, she believed in her and heavenly court's strength, her arrangements regarding Fangzheng were just a supplementary move. But after getting Qin Ding Ling's alert, Fairy Zi Wei understood that Gu Fangzheng was the most useful pawn in dealing with Fang Yuan. Right after she nurtured Fangzheng to become an immortal, a good result had already occurred, Qin Ding Ling awakened. As long as she continued investing in him, more people similar to Qin Ding Ling would show up. The stronger Fangzheng becomes, the grander his luck will be, and the more variables he will be able to create. These are all the arrangements of heaven's will, specially used to counter Fang Yuan. In that case, we will focus on Fangzheng, with heavenly court supporting him fully. Fairy Zi Wei grasped the situation with great clarity, she immediately changed her tactic to the most suitable one. Oh, one more thing. I have many incomplete Immortal Gu recipes here, I had secretly obtained them by probing Giant Sun Immortal Venerable in the past. These recipes have to do with Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's luck path Immortal Gu, I need you to complete them and refine them. Qin Ding Ling took out an information path Gu worm. Fairy Zi Wei quickly received it with both hands, I will do my best to deduce them, please rest assured, Senior. Immemorial White Heaven, 5 Xiang's grotto-heaven. Fang Yuan had been cultivating here recently. Immortal Killer Move, Myriad Thought Sword Waterfall. Rumble. With a loud sound, a grand waterfall appeared inside Heaven Form Killer Move, the silver waterfall was majestic and vast, it slammed into the wills that were stored up at the bottom of Heaven Form. Each drop of water in this waterfall was a thought, it had the appearance of a sword. The waterfall crashed down and instantly created a huge crevice, decimating a large amount of wills. After a few breaths of time, the waterfall vanished, a lake appeared within the land of wills, within the lake was a pool of sword thoughts. Immortal Killer Move, Swordsman. Fang Yuan willed as he activated another move. Once this move was activated, the lake water started to bubble like it was boiling, next, warriors jumped out of the lake one by one. They all had Fang Yuan's appearance and held long swords in their hands. They hacked and slashed at the lingering wills. Each attack caused cracks to form on the collective wills. These two moves had outstanding origins. Fang Yuan had created them as compound killer moves. Myriad Thought Sword Waterfall used Wisdom Sword Immortal Gu as the core. It contained Sword Path. It was more effective on these wills compared to using Wisdom Sword Immortal Gu alone. Meanwhile, the killer move Swordsman contained Sword Path and Human Path. Fang Yuan had successfully created it recently after becoming a Human Path Grandmaster. 2 hours later. Suddenly, the loud cry of a crane filled the entire Five Xiang's grotto-heaven. The white crane which was sleeping had been awakened from its dreams. It stretched its body and flapped its wings. It was very elegant. I finally grasped control of heaven form again. I spent less than half the time compared to the previous life. It is time to move out and find Beast Calamity Grotto-Heaven and Profound Literature Grotto-Heaven. Fang Yuan smiled as bright light shined in his eyes. Good events came in succession. He obtained a report from Langya Land's spirit. Another rank 6 luck path Immortal Gu had been successfully refined. Fang Yuan had not obtained Regret Gu yet. He did not want to do a mass refinement to raise the rank of his current Immortal Gu for now. But he extorted the southern border righteous path and obtained lots of luck path immortal materials. He had been trying to refine these luck path Immortal Gu for the current period of time. Immortal Gu were unique. Once he refines them, others would not be able to. The sovereign immortal aperture had already developed to a certain extent. Fang Yuan was affluent enough to feed mere rank 6 Immortal Gu with no problems. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1822, Using Soul Replacement Twice. Chapter 1822, Using Soul Replacement Twice. According to my memories, it should be around here. Fang Yuan stopped at a certain location in immemorial white heaven. There was nothing here, but according to the memories of Fang Yuan's previous life, he knew that Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven was right here. The Grotto Heaven's entrance was closed and hidden in empty space. It could not be seen with the naked eye. Fang Yuan had used heaven form in the previous life to discover the existence of Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven. It was not as troublesome this time. He could directly locate it. Go, heaven form. Fang Yuan willed. Heaven form was a one-legged crane that was covered in snow-white feathers which had no dust or dirt. It had a long beak that was red in color. After it flew out, it flew round and round the empty space nearby. As it moved, information from heaven form went to the depths of Fang Yuan's mind. These were all information regarding Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven. Fang Yuan soon learned about the details of the inside world. Even though I successfully annexed this Grotto Heaven in the previous life, I came at a slightly different time in this life. Some unexpected mishaps might occur. If Heavenly Court has some arrangements inside and I go right in, there would be huge problems. Fang Yuan acted vigilantly. After investigating it for a long time, he confirmed that Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven was still an isolated world that did not interact with the outside world. He relaxed at long last as he activated a killer move that he had prepared for a long time. After some effort, the killer move was completed. Fang Yuan spat out lightly from his mouth. A gray soul ball shot into the Grotto Heaven at lightning speed. It was so fast that it vanished without a trace, as if all that happened was an illusion. After the gray soul ball entered Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven, it quickly descended. Any living being that entered Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven would be affected by the myriad beings assimilation transformation killer move that was in the Grotto Heaven. They would be turned into a Beast Calamity. The last time Fang Yuan attacked, he had met with this issue as he turned into bull-headed demon god. He slaughtered countless beings and caused a river of blood to flow. Corpses lay on the ground everywhere. Even though he was invincible and rampaged unhindered, he only managed to snatch the Beast Calamity inheritance. He did not gain the acknowledgement of the Qilin heavenly spirit. He managed to use myriad beings assimilation transformation with difficulty, but obtained no immortal Gu. It was merely half an inheritance. After that, because of the battle in Eastern Sea over Dragon Palace, Fang Yuan stopped his plans here and went to Eastern Sea, but gained nothing. Eventually, he had to come here and change his tactics. He annexed the entire beast calamity grotto-heaven after subduing it. All these incidents made his efficiency very low. Fang Yuan wasted lots of time and effort. The beast calamity grotto-heaven that he obtained was also heavily damaged by himself. He killed almost all of the Gu immortals inside the grotto-heaven. That would not do. Fang Yuan decided to change his tactics against beast calamity grotto-heaven this time. He wanted to preserve it at its full strength. He wanted to gather all of the Gu immortals here and place them in his sovereign immortal aperture to increase the scale of his subordinates. The gray soul ball descended rapidly in the sky. Myriad beings' assimilation transformation started to exert its influence on the soul ball, but it had all sorts of transformation path Dao marks on its surface. The number of transformation path Dao marks continued to be expended as it resisted the power of myriad beings' assimilation transformation, maintaining the soul ball's shape. Fang Yuan was outside, using heaven form to observe this. The gray soul ball had limited time, it could not be replenished after leaving Fang Yuan. Even though it had a lot of transformation path Dao marks to resist myriad beings' assimilation transformation, the expenditure was heavy, it would be destroyed after some time. If not for the transformation path Dao marks protecting it, the gray soul ball would be transformed into a beast calamity due to the power of myriad beings' assimilation transformation. It would likely become an ancient soul beast. By then, not only would he be exposed, he would also be attacked by the alerted Gu immortals. In that case, Fang Yuan's plans would end in failure. But thankfully, Fang Yuan had planned this meticulously. Soon, the soul ball reached the ground, it sneaked into a bustling city. It roamed in the alleys, hiding in the dark corners as it moved rapidly like a fish in water. Beat him up harshly. Boom boom boom. In a small alley, a few rich youngsters were beating up a poor kid of their own age. The poor lad wore a thin shirt, he was covered in wounds everywhere. He was already beaten to a pulp, he could not resist, he had to bend down and hold his head, shrinking into a ball. Eventually, he fainted from the assault. Seeing this, the rich young masters quickly stopped. Don't tell me we killed him. No, that's too scary. This lad is so weak. How dare this lad get close to Lin Clan's young miss, he did not even heed the warning of young Master Lin, he deserves it even if he dies. The youngsters walked away with smug expressions, feeling agitated. Good chance, my luck is quite good. The gray soul ball arrived just in time as ripples appeared on the surface. This good luck was not a coincidence, it was influenced by Fang Yuan's own luck. Seeing that there was nobody around, the gray soul ball did not hesitate, it entered the chest of the poor lad and enveloped his soul entirely. The young man had a weak soul, he was resisting instinctively. But Fang Yuan's gray soul ball was a portion of his desolate soul, it was incredibly powerful, how could a mortal soul defend against it? In almost an instant, the young man's soul was destroyed by the gray soul ball entirely. The gray soul ball expanded rapidly, turning into the young man's appearance. It occupied the young man's body and controlled his mind, taking over and becoming a native person. From today onwards, I am the young lad, Zhan Budu, 1. That's right, this gray soul ball was none other than the soul path killer move, soul replacement. In the past, Shadow Sect had used this move to successfully plant spies in Langya Blessed Land. Until now, the traitor Sixth Hair was still alive. The gray soul ball originated from Fang Yuan's desolate soul, it could not be detected by land spirits or heavenly spirits. This was the specialty of soul replacement. If not for this, Langya Land Spirit would have discovered the secret of Shadow Sect spies long ago. And Fang Yuan had modified soul replacement on that foundation, adding in many transformation path immortal Gu to supplement it. Thus, the gray soul ball had transformation path Dao marks and could resist the influence of myriad beings' assimilation transformation. However, after soul replacement succeeded, all my actions will be observable by the heavenly spirit, I need to act with caution from now on. Thankfully, I have already destroyed the young lad's soul and obtained his memories, I know everything about his life. Even though the heavenly spirit was unlikely to place attention on this tiny area, who knows? At the next moment, Fang Yuan's clone started his performance. The young man grunted as he opened his eyes. He had rage and helplessness on his face. Damn it! He climbed up with difficulty. Because of his injuries, the intense pain made him gasp loudly. Eventually, he held onto the wall as support, walking out slowly. Fang Yuan's main body observed for a while longer. Seeing that this clone had adapted well without any accidents, he stopped heaven form and left. He rapidly arrived near profound literature grotto-heaven. This information path grotto-heaven was quite troublesome to take down. Fang Yuan lacked information path attainment, while there was an information path rank 8 Gu immortal inside the grotto-heaven defending it. In the previous life, Fang Yuan failed because of this rank 8 Gu immortal. He was stopped outside and could not get in. Like earlier, Fang Yuan investigated this place again. Profound literature grotto-heaven was also not a trap. It had not been affected by the ink effect. There were no negative changes for Fang Yuan. Thus, Fang Yuan instilled immortal essence and activated heaven form, creating a white light passage. Such guts! Which vile fiend dares to invade my homeland? A vast and mighty voice resounded from within, speaking with righteousness. Next, an old man resembling a white-robed scholar, possessing rank 8 aura, showed up at the other end of the white light passage. He came out after all. Fang Yuan was not surprised. He opened a slit of the sovereign immortal aperture's entrance. A large number of desolate beasts, ancient desolate beasts, and immemorial desolate beasts were let out. Heaven form itself could not transport killer moves. Once Fang Yuan uses any killer moves, the white light passage would break. But the white light passage could transport living beings, like how Fang Yuan had used it to invade Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven. Don't even think about it. The white-robed old man shouted loudly. He used an information path offensive method to create a rain of written characters that slaughtered the beast groups. A few breaths of time later, the white light passage collapsed. An immemorial desolate beast was in a pitiful state as its head had just entered when the passage broke. Thus, its head was left in profound literature grotto heaven while its body was outside. No matter who you are, you will have to pay an unimaginable price to invade this place. The white-robed old man called out. Fang Yuan smiled nonchalantly. He went to another area and started to do the same thing. But similar to the previous life, the white-robed old man arrived quickly, slaughtering the invading beast groups again. Fang Yuan changed several locations, but each attempt ended in failure. No matter who you are, with me around, don't think of succeeding. The white-robed old man had great morale. Is that so? Fang Yuan laughed coldly as he retreated. Within profound literature grotto heaven, at a certain courtyard, a young male scholar looked at his reflection in the well water as he thought, from today onwards, I am Li Xiaobai, 2. 1. Trivia. This is the name of the MC in Mashin Hero Wataru, an old anime that was popular in China in the 1990s. 2. Trivia. Reference to the famous poet Li Bai. Xiaobai also can be slang or shorthand for a couple of different things, like novice or a man who lives off a woman. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1823, Cooking Luck Po. Chapter 1823, Cooking Luck Po. Immemorial White Heaven. Fang Yuan rode on spontaneous auspicious cloud as he flew in the sky. The heaven form white crane was following closely, circling around him. The killer move spontaneous auspicious cloud was obtained by Fang Yuan from Heifan Grotto Heaven. After some modifications, he used it as a movement killer move. But the auspicious cloud did not follow Fang Yuan's will, but moved according to the mystery of luck path. The route that the auspicious cloud moved was the one with the greatest luck. Spontaneous auspicious cloud and heaven form worked together very well. Fang Yuan had used this in his previous life to find Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven and Profound Literature Grotto Heaven. Not long ago, Fang Yuan had already used soul replacement in both the Grotto Heavens. After that, Fang Yuan waited for his clones to develop while he continued cultivating and gathering strength. His Chi Path killer moves were still in the process of familiarization. After intense practice, he could already use them to fight against rank 8 Gu immortals. But the trump card unlimited Chi C killer move was still quite foreign to Fang Yuan. Other than training killer moves, Fang Yuan's main body also patrolled immemorial white heaven and used both spontaneous auspicious cloud and heaven form to attempt to find more grotto-heavens. But until now, Fang Yuan had found nothing. Even though heaven form has a wide range, against this huge immemorial white heaven, it is just too tiny in comparison. But along this route, I had great gains. I obtained a lot of rank 8 immortal materials. This is truly the best route for me. I was lucky all along the way. It was filled with surprises. Oh. My time path clone has obtained results from deduction. Fang Yuan's eyes shined with bright light. His main body cultivated diligently but had no great gains, but after so much time spent on deductions, the time path clone obtained quite a good result. Another immortal Gu house's deduction is completed. Very good. Fang Yuan was overjoyed. He diverted some of his attention to his immortal aperture as he started assembling it. Immemorial white heaven was very dangerous with countless immemorial desolate beasts roaming around. There were even immemorial desolate beast groups occasionally. If ordinary rank 8 Gu immortals explored this place they would need to be vigilant. Some rank 7 experts would also explore immemorial white heaven for cultivation resources occasionally, but they were all fearful and careful. However, Fang Yuan had spontaneous auspicious cloud. He only had good luck along the way. With the help of heaven form, he could detect any danger in advance. Fang Yuan was able to easily avoid them ahead of time. Iron Wall Gu. This was a rank 6 metal path Gu worm. It was the size of an adult's fist, heavy and resembling a rhinoceros beetle, but be it the head or back, it was squarish and straight. Its body had almost no curves at all. Evidently, Iron Wall Gu was a defensive Gu worm. It had been taken from Langya's sex inventory, used by Fang Yuan now to create his second immortal Gu house. Once Iron Wall Gu was activated, a large number of mortal Gu followed. These mortal Gu were of various types. There were 3,000 of them, among which Fire Path and Metal Path were the most numerous. They were all rank 5 Gu. Iron Wall Gu was fixed at the center while the mortal Gu surrounded it as they moved like a wave. A wave of black light appeared among the mortal Gu like spreading ink. It enveloped all of the Gu worms as a black ball of light was created. The black ball floated in the sky. Its surface was uneven as the Gu worms inside started to fly even faster now. After reaching a certain speed, the black ball became extremely smooth. There were no bumps anymore. It was completely round. At this point, Fang Yuan started to activate his Fire Path Immortal Gu. He activated 3 Fire Path Immortal Gu and a large number of Mortal Gu, creating a flame. The flame had an intense scarlet color, coiling around the black ball as it burned continuously. An alluring fragrance started to spread. Mortals who breathed it in would indulge in it and feel deep desires and imaginations that could not be stopped. After burning for many hours, the black ball turned into a golden ball of light on the surface. The black color earlier seemed to be soot that was removed by the flames. Fang Yuan maintained this golden ball of light as he stopped the flame, taking out Water Path and Wisdom Path Immortal Gu as he created a clear spring. The spring water doused the golden ball as sizzling sounds were heard. It was like red-hot iron submerged in water. But no steam was produced. All of the water had fused into the golden ball. The golden ball of light started to become slower in rotation. The Gu worms inside looked like tiny golden meteors that spun around endlessly. The pattern of their traces became more complicated and disorganized. It would make people feel dizzy when looking, but no collisions had taken place at all during this period. At this time, Fang Yuan took out his second supplementary Immortal Gu. Food Path Immortal Gu, Cook. It looked like a giant water bug that was the size of a basin. It had a triangular head and short feelers. Under its feelers were 2 compound eyes shining in golden light. Its body was flat and oval-shaped. It was dark red in color and had the sensation of touching sand. It was very warm. It had 3 pairs of legs. The front pair was the strongest, looking like 2 thick and powerful pincers. Immortal Gu Cook was obtained by Fang Yuan when he extorted the southern border righteous path. By now, Fang Yuan had already returned the bodies and souls of the southern border Gu immortal captives. He started to exchange immortal Gu with them. Fang Yuan spent an hour before he placed immortal Gu cook into the golden ball of light. The golden ball expanded by double its original size as a result. Fang Yuan was already covered in sweat. He had finally gotten past this hardest part of the first step. Assembling an immortal Gu house was not easy, it was much more difficult than using normal killer moves. If it failed, the Gu immortal would face a backlash, the Gu worms used would also be damaged or destroyed. Thus, Fang Yuan was extremely careful and vigilant. As he continued, Fang Yuan added dog shit luck, chi luck, luck inspection, connect luck, time luck, and his other luck path immortal Gu into the ball. His luck path attainment level was master, while formation path was grandmaster. He already had intuition. Thus, during the process of assembling it, if any bad feelings emerged, Fang Yuan would pay close attention to them and make appropriate adjustments. The most important thing was that his method of assembling the immortal Gu house was deduced by the time path clone using the light of wisdom. It was very exemplary. Half a month later in the sovereign immortal aperture's time, Fang Yuan succeeded. The golden light ball exploded as a brand new immortal Gu house was formed. Different from myriad year flying warship, this immortal Gu house was smaller and had the size of a regular bowl. It was shining in golden light, it was covered in a pure white light, sacred and royal. It was a pot, the pot's rim was about a thumb's thickness, the internal space was large but there was nothing inside now. Outside the pot, there were 8 dragons, 6 were vivid and lively, while 2 were blurry and crude. These 8 dragons were all at the base of the pot, coiling around each other and extending their claws to become the legs of this pot. The 8 dragon tails pointed in 8 different directions, towards the north, south, east, west, northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest. Each dragon claw was attached to the surface of the pot. The dragon bodies moved upwards as the dragon heads hung on the edge, looking inside. The dragon eyes were shut as if they were sleeping. Rank 6 Immortal Gu House, Cooking Luck Pot. Even though rank 7 Immortal Gu like Food Path Immortal Gu Cook were used, the core Luck Path Immortal Gu were still rank 6, thus this Immortal Gu House had a slightly lower rank. This Immortal Gu House was within the records of Giant Sun's true inheritance. Fang Yuan's Time Path clone had improved upon and modified it. Evidently, this was a Luck Path Immortal Gu House. It could not carry Gu Immortals into battle, it was tiny and had another use. In fact, it was quite similar to Star Constellation chessboard. Fang Yuan instilled his immortal essence as Cooking Luck Pot started to vibrate, it turned into a golden light and flew above Fang Yuan's head, vanishing from sight. Even Fang Yuan could not see this Immortal Gu House with his naked eye, he had to use methods to verify its existence. It was quite easy to see it. Fang Yuan willed as he instilled immortal essence, activating one of Cooking Luck Pot's killer moves. Luck Inspection. Fang Yuan's vision changed rapidly, he saw that his luck was flowing into Cooking Luck Pot continuously. After a while, Cooking Luck Pot became filled with luck. Luck Inspection Immortal Gu is only rank 6 while I have rank 8 cultivation level, just this Immortal Gu alone cannot inspect my luck. Cooking Luck Pot is only rank 6, I can only see the luck inside this pot, but not the full extent of my luck. Even so, Fang Yuan could still see a bit of his luck on the outside of the pot. There was a river-like luck with clear and bright water, it seemed like a miniature river of time, it was most connected to Fang Yuan. One end of the river extended into the pot while the other merged into empty space. This was the luck of Fang Yuan's Time Path clone. The Time Path clone had stable luck, but a trace of black chi was forming and growing continuously. This was Spring-Autumn Cicada's drawback, it generated bad luck. Once in a while, Fang Yuan would need to use luck path methods against it. There was another luck, it looked like a layer of pink fog, it was floating near the pot, circling around it. This was the luck of Fang Yuan's Dream Path clone. The pink fog was weak and thin, it continued to change forms as it resembled a vague shadow. Only after the Dream Path clone becomes rank 6 would it have comparable luck with the Time Path clone. Other than that, there was the Dragonman clone's luck. It was a tiny purple dragon flying near the pot. Fang Yuan's clone in Beast Calamity grotto-heaven had a gray and dirty sparrow luck, while his profound literature grotto-heaven clone had a flower bud luck that was wilting. These two clones have weak luck. It seems that the gray soul ball consumed a lot of luck. And because they and my main body are separated by a small world, there is some obstruction. In that case, Fang Yuan willed as he activated Cooking Luck Pot. Cooking Luck Pot started to rise in temperature as the luck started to boil. Two dragons at the edge of the pot opened their eyes and mouths, sucking at the luck in the pot. Immediately, 2 portions of luck were absorbed into the dragon's stomachs. The dragons started to move as their heads turned towards the gray sparrow and flower bud, spitting out at them. The 2 spurts of luck shot out and fused into the gray sparrow luck and flower bud luck. Instantly, the gray sparrow chirped and turned into a sharp-beaked eagle. It spread its wings and flew. Meanwhile, the flower bud luck seemed invigorated as it bloomed profusely in vibrant colors. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1824, Egg Falling from the Sky. 1824 Egg Falling from the Sky. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable Self Luck True Inheritance had a comprehensive description of all the different forms of luck. Generally, the 7 main colors of luck were black, gray, white, red, gold, azure, purple. But there were also uncommon colors that were created by the mixing of the above colors. Luck had all sorts of special forms and appearances. They varied according to the situations and conditions that the individuals were in. Fang Yuan, for example, had very different luck compared to his various clones. Fang Yuan owned the complete self-luck true inheritance of Giant Sun and a portion of all living beings' luck true inheritance. He only needed to take a look at these colors and shapes to learn about their conditions and deduce a lot of information. Cooking Luck Pot had Time Luck, Luck Inspection, Dog Shit Luck, Chi Luck, Connect Luck, and other Immortal Gu. The abilities of these Luck Path Immortal Gu were just the basic functions of Cooking Luck Pot. The main ability of this Immortal Gu house was Cooking Luck. The shape, size, and color of one's luck was a representation of their current situation and possible changes. For example, if Fang Yuan had a dense black coffin luck now, it meant that he was going to face fatal danger. Fang Yuan could use Cooking Luck Pot to cook and change this black coffin luck into a brand new luck within the pot. For example, Fortune Luck or Peach Blossom Luck. Giant Sun's self-luck true inheritance revolved around researching on one's own luck and how to modify it. This Cooking Luck Pot was the peak creation within this true inheritance. It had the ability to cook any form of luck and convert it into something the user wants. However, I have rank 8 cultivation level while Cooking Luck Pot is only rank 6, it can barely affect my main body's luck. However, my other clones are different, with the highest being rank 7 and most of the rest being mortals. With the cooking luck I used earlier, the effect and change should be immediate. Fang Yuan tested it for a while before continuing to cultivate and practice his Chi Path killer moves. He definitely had to raise Cooking Luck Pot's rank, but currently, Regret Gu was inside the Paradise, Dragon Whale Grotto Heaven. Fang Yuan could command the Hairy Man Gu Immortals to refine rank 6 Luck Path Immortal Gu en masse, but to advance them to rank 7, he lacked some crucial elements. Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven. Fang Yuan's clone, Zhanbu Du, was walking slowly. The crowd was noisy, people moved rapidly like a current. This is the largest Gu master market in the city, it is bustling. Zhanbu Du observed and thought. He was only rank 1 now, he was too young. And because he was broke, he came here this time to collect information and increase his understanding of the surroundings. Gu masters need resources to cultivate. I am totally broke now. My most important task now is to earn money. Zhanbu Du had an innocent young face, but he was full of confidence internally. He was a split soul of Fang Yuan, a Gu immortal. How hard was it to find a method of earning a fortune as a Gu master? But after some observation, Zhanbu Du's brows became covered in a thin layer of bitterness. Gu masters are known as combat beast envoys in this place. Even though they both use Gu worms, these Gu worms are used to nurture combat beasts or to fuse with wild beasts and plants. There are no instances of Gu masters fighting alone in this place. Fang Yuan walked around the market. He found very few Gu worms here. Most shops were selling beasts or plants. It is no surprise. This beast calamity grotto-heaven has the power of the killer move myriad beings assimilation transformation. It is very easy for Gu masters to fuse with beasts or plants. In the outside world, they would need to pay more than 10 times the price to achieve it. Because the method of fusing with beasts and plants is too easy and advantageous, traditional Gu cultivation has been buried in history. Of course, this is also the intention of Beast Calamity Immortal. Even Beast Calamity Immortal died after suffering heavy injuries from his first myriad tribulation. He had placed a lot of effort in developing this grotto-heaven in the past. He probably created this trend so that he could control the living beings inside well. After all, Beast Calamity grotto-heaven had a really large number of people. Xianxia Du wanted to take over this place. He could not use the traditional Gu cultivation method. He had to assimilate and become a combat beast envoy. Becoming a combat beast envoy could be said to be easy but also hard. It only required the Gu master to successfully fuse with a wild beast or plant. This was the most basic step. After that, he could go to the Combat Beast Guild and spend money to register and become a guild member. Inside Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven, the Combat Beast Guild was the largest and sole superforce. If Xianxia Du joined it, he would have the lowest ranking Combat Beast Disciple status. Above disciple level would be the main forces of the Combat Beast Guild, Combat Beast Envoy. Above Combat Beast Envoy was Combat Beast Warrior. This needed Gu immortal cultivation level and they were mostly city lords. And above Combat Beast Warrior was the one and only Combat Beast King. The structure of the organization was simple and crude. Xianxia Du not only lacked Gu worms now, he also lacked combat beasts and combat plants. Especially the latter two, they were expensive. After collecting enough information, Xianxia Du had a plan in his mind. According to my plan, in a month's time, I will have enough finances to buy a Gu worm. After another month, I will be able to purchase the lowest grade combat beast. I will buy the incisor rat first and use it for some time. This wild beast is greatly underestimated by everyone. It is very valuable for its price. With sufficient strength, I will join the Combat Beast Guild and use it to receive missions and increase my strength rapidly. At this moment, Xianxia Du heard a shout, "Careful, above you." He quickly looked up and saw a black figure descending rapidly from the sky. Even higher in the sky, an old man was manipulating the huge bird below him, descending quickly as he tried to catch the black figure, but it seemed like he was too late. "What is it? Quickly run." The surrounding people quickly dispersed. Xianxia Du also quickened his pace, hiding under the roof of a shop. Boom! Almost instantly, the black object crashed into this shop's stairs as it shattered. Shrapnels flew everywhere as the surrounding people screamed out in pain and agony. Xianxia Du was the closest to it, but he was completely unharmed. "This is an egg." Xianxia Du looked at the egg that was as tall as a person, thinking, "This aura, it is clearly a desolate beast egg." While he was thinking, the egg shell broke as a cute little eagle made its way to the world. The young eagle looked at Xianxia Du as it chirped. It jumped onto him and used its tiny beak to peck at Xianxia Du's cheeks. How could this happen? The old man riding a huge bird landed on the ground as he looked at this with dumbfounded expression. "Hello old sir, my name is Xianxia Du." Xianxia Du was knowledgeable. He knew this old man was a Gu immortal. He did not dare to wait and quickly paid his respects. Before the old man spoke, that tiny eagle that Xianxia Du shrugged off went towards him again as it patted his back using its tiny wings. The old man had a complex expression as he looked at this tiny eagle. He assessed Xianxia Du closely. "Sigh, my partner has been pregnant for 30 years, it finally laid the egg today. So coincidentally, it landed here and hatched as a young arrow-tail eagle. You were the first person that it saw, so it treated you as its closest kin." Xianxia Du was stunned. He quickly waved his hands. "Old sir, I am so sorry, I did not mean to do that." The old Gu immortal chuckled. "Your name is Xianxia Du. I will call you Little Du. Oh Little Du, don't be nervous, I am not blaming you. In fact, I need to apologize to you, the egg almost killed you earlier. This truly feels like an arrangement of fate. If my grandson was still alive, he would be as old as you. Oh Little Du, are you willing to cultivate with me? You obtained the young arrow-tail eagle's recognition, you might be able to become a combat beast warrior in the future. Combat beast warrior? Jean Boudou's eyes widened as it shined with light, he had the expression of an innocent and excited boy. He clenched his fists. My greatest dream is to become a combat beast warrior. Old sir, can I really do it? Can I cultivate by your side? The old man laughed loudly. Oh Little Du, it will depend on your hard work to determine if you can become a combat beast warrior. But for now, let's leave. Yes, old sir. Jean Boudou followed the old man as they rode on the arrow-tail eagle, flying away under plain sight. Heavens! What did I just see? Isn't this youngster's luck way too good? That old man is the city lord of Mountain Cliff City. He is Mountain Cliff City Lord. Oh. I heard that the Mountain Cliff City Lord would come to our city one of these days to negotiate matters with our city lord. The surrounding people exploded into a commotion, their discussions got increasingly louder. Who is that young man? He seems to be called Jean Boudou. Why is his luck so good? Sigh, why wasn't it me? Had I known this, I would have pushed him aside. Damn it! This Jean Boudou wore tattered clothes, he is clearly a poor lad but he was actually taken in by that esteemed combat beast warrior. He has truly changed his fate, his future is incomparably bright now. He even gained the acknowledgement of the arrow-tail eagle, this is an immortal beast, an immortal beast. Indeed, compared to an immortal beasts, all of the beasts and plants in the market are trash, they are less valuable than the eagle's feces. Some were angrily stomping their feet, feeling extremely regretful, why did they not grab onto this rare opportunity earlier? Some stared with wide-opened eyes that had turned red, some were shouting and screaming, their saliva spitting everywhere. Profound literature grotto-heaven. A poetry competition was going on. A famous great scholar looked at the students in the hall as he laughed, this city is filled with literary talents, I see that all your students are overflowing with scholarly aura. It seems that Brother Zhang's teachings has paid off. I am flattered, Brother Shen, these students of mine are shallow in knowledge, they are still too young. This is their great opportunity and luck to be able to watch our literary battle. The teacher of this place, Teacher Jiang, said humbly. Great Scholar Shen held out his hand, Brother Jiang, we are quite evenly matched in this battle, let's consider it a tie. Next, let's play a game of passing the flower. 1. The 3 students who win will recite their poems, let me see the literature skills of these juniors, how about that? Alright. Teacher Jiang thought about it and nodded in agreement. Immediately, the eyes of many students below the stage lightened up. This was an incredibly rare opportunity, there were 2 great scholars on the stage, no matter how good their poems were, as long as they could showcase their works, their reputation would spread among the people. The drums rolled. Choose me, choose me. Pass it to me, pass it to me. Sigh. The drums have stopped. Who has the red flower? Please do recite your poem. Great Scholar Shen opened his eyes as he smiled. As everyone looked with gazes of anticipation, Li Xiaobai walked up the stage while rubbing his nose. 1. It's like musical chairs but whoever has the flower when the music stops wins. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1825, Getting the Red Flower. 1825 Getting the Red Flower. Student Li Xiaobai greets both teachers. Li Xiaobai walked up the stage and said politely. Great Scholar Shen smiled at him, nodding. Meanwhile, Teacher Jiang of this school asked, Xiaobai, do you have any poems? Teacher Jiang had a bit of worry shown between his brows. This Xiaobai was very ordinary in talent, hopefully he had some sort of preparation before this, otherwise with his current standards, this would be a disappointing show. It was okay if he was the only person disappointed, but right now with Great Scholar Shen here. Especially when the first half of this competition was very interesting and would become renowned in the world. If the later half was disappointing, everyone in the world would know that Teacher Jiang was a talented person but could not teach young talents himself. "Teacher, I have a poem prepared." Li Xiaobai immediately answered. He was quite confident. "Then let us hear it." Teacher Jiang was slightly more assured now. This profound literature grotto-heaven was not like any other place, it had a flourishing literary culture. If anyone could make a good poem, even if nobody rewards them, heaven and earth would provide them benefits. Thus, the art of creating poems was an important task. It directly affected the person's livelihood, status, reputation, and future. Normally speaking, most scholars would accumulate their foundation and save some good poem lines as secrets. Even if they could not compose a poem with those lines, they would save it for the future. Thus, even though many scholars could create great poems, they would not publish them. They would conceal their strength and use them to deal with difficult poem competitions. Because of this, it was not strange or surprising that Li Xiaobai had a poem prepared. Li Xiaobai had his considerations. "I have read countless poems in my life. Most are world-shocking creations. They are famous on earth even after thousands of years, and after such a long time, the literature on earth flourished greatly. But if I try to use these poems, it will be a problem. This grotto-heaven world has an information path environment. It most excels at collecting information. Especially the method to observe literary qi and talent qi. Almost everybody has such methods, they only vary in the depth of abilities. I lack literary qi and talent qi. Before I used soul replacement, this was just an ordinary student. By creating a world-shocking poem now, not only would people not believe me, they would also be suspicious and start investigating me. Even if I try to explain that it is not my work afterwards, it would be too late. I'd be seen as dishonest. In this world, everyone will despise and loathe me." Fang Yuan had planned many things before infiltrating profound literature grotto-heaven to deal with all sorts of situations. The clone Li Xiaobai lacked literary qi and talent qi to begin with. It was not that Fang Yuan's own talents were lacking. However, Li Xiaobai had a large number of famous poems in his memories. Other than those from Earth, there were also Fang Yuan's own creations. Thus, Li Xiaobai chose one of them and started to recite. Teacher Jiang let out a breath of air. This poem was quite well constructed. It was barely living up to the standards of today's competition. "What, it is nothing impressive. I sat beside Li Xiaobai for 3 years in class. This is way beyond his usual standards, ha ha ha. Isn't that great? With his poem as the anchor, the next 2 winners will be very lucky." The students below the stage became increasingly lively. Even though Li Xiaobai's poem was quite compatible with his known abilities, he still had many more talented classmates around. Especially when some students had many precious poems that they prepared already in advance. These poems were composed meticulously by them, using a lot of time and effort to create. They were too good for other situations, but this was an appropriate setting to use them. When the drums started rolling and the red flower got passed around, these elite students became very excited, their eyes were shining. The drums stopped. Most of the students were disappointed. Why were they not chosen? Next, their eyes turned red. It was him again. The red flower stopped at Li Xiaobai's table. Oh. Li Xiaobai was also quite surprised. "The rules are the rules, you can come up again." Great scholar Shen laughed as he shook his head. Teacher Jiang got worried again. According to Li Xiaobai's nature and foundation, he had already performed above standard last time, this time. But Li Xiaobai started to recite his poem again. This poem was on the same level as the previous one. Teacher Jiang finally relaxed as he looked at Li Xiaobai with a gentler expression. It seems that even though this student is not as talented, he is very hardworking. He stored up 2 poems as backup. These 2 should be his own creation. It was not easy that he managed to compose them. Li Xiaobai did not put up a shameful performance. Teacher Jiang was very glad about it. The final person. Both chances went to Li Xiaobai. Sigh, that was truly bad luck. If I had gone on stage, the 2 great scholars would definitely be pleasantly surprised. But I was not given a chance. I wonder who will get the 3rd chance. If it is not me, I hope it is not them either. The students were unable to sit still, they had their own thoughts as they lost their cool. The drums rolled as the students looked at the red flower with bloodshot eyes. Pass it to me. Pass it to me. Sigh, it has passed me. I hope the drumming continues and it makes its way to me again. Bang! The drums stopped abruptly with a loud sound. Great Scholar Shen opened his eyes as he smiled. Who is it this time, ugh? He was dazed, a strange expression was shown on his face as he pointed at the final lucky star. He did not know whether to cry or laugh. Why is it you again? Li Xiaobai held the flower as he walked up the stage with a grim expression. He first cupped his fists at the two scholars before turning to the students below the stage. Fellow classmates, I really did not do this intentionally, getting up the stage thrice is less of a surprise and more of a shock to me. I know that most of you are more talented than me, but I have to recite 3 times, I sincerely apologize. Originally, his classmates were shocked and furious, but after hearing Li Xiaobai's words and expression, the anger in their hearts dissipated. In fact, a portion of the people started to feel pity for Li Xiaobai. After all, Li Xiaobai's talent and literary skills were inferior to them, wasn't he suffering by going up the stage? Your luck is too incredible. Forget it, start reciting. Teacher Jiang laughed as he spoke. Li Xiaobai started his recital again. The standard was ordinary but the final line was quite impressive. Even though it was just a minor point, it elevated the entire poem to a new level. Not only did Great Scholar Shen laugh and praise it, even Teacher Jiang was a little surprised. The final line of your poem is quite interesting. How did you conceptualize it? Li Xiaobai smiled bitterly. Teacher, I don't dare to lie, this poem had only 3 lines originally. I thought of and added the final line earlier when I was anxious. To think that both sirs would enjoy it, I was also quite surprised. Teacher Jiang was stunned before laughing loudly. Great Scholar Shen shook his head. Li Xiaobai, you are very honest. It turned out that he had used a method secretly to inspect Li Xiaobai's literary qi and talent qi. He obtained information that this person had quite an ordinary talent. But it is not something rare that he can have a flash of inspiration and perform better than normal. Great Scholar Shen had no suspicions. Teacher Jiang reassessed Li Xiaobai in a new light. He looked at Li Xiaobai inconspicuously as he thought, even though Li Xiaobai is very ordinary in talent, he is very hardworking normally. That is how he had 3 poems prepared. Being able to gain inspiration and make up the verse on the spot shows that he has potential. But the best thing about him is that he said those words earlier before the 3rd round. He apologized to his classmates. That was his good interpersonal skills. Being able to articulate as well as his writing, and sophisticated in human interaction, he is not bad. Wait. Teacher Jiang suddenly thought, this competition is going to be famous in the world. My reputation has already spread throughout the world before this, that is not key. But Li Xiaobai is going to become famous from this. If there were 3 students who performed, it would be less impactful, but he actually took all 3 chances. This way, he will be the center of attention. After ending in a draw against Brother Shen, nobody will find me for a duel in the short period. But there might be some devious people who would target my student in order to affect me. And the problem was, Li Xiaobai was a common and ordinary student. Teacher Jiang frowned as he made up his mind. After this, I need to nurture Li Xiaobai and secretly give him tuition. After this competition, everyone will know that Li Xiaobai is my student. Even though I have many students, he is the only famous one. In the future, if anyone mentions Li Xiaobai, my name will also come up. Our reputation is already tied together. I need to nurture him well, otherwise. Teacher Jiang felt very pressured. He decided to make sure Li Xiaobai was a proper scholar even if he had to spend a huge amount of effort and resources. Even if he was a cheap piece of wood, he needed to be carved into jade in appearance. Central Continent, Feihe Mountain. Gu Lu stopped his killer move as he wiped the sweat off his forehead. He let out a breath of air. It is done. His immortal aperture time has been shifted to its limit. He will face calamities and tribulations very often. Thank you for the hard work. Qin Ding Ling smiled as she looked at the sleeping Gu Fangzheng. Suddenly, she gasped. What is it? Gu Lu asked in confusion. Qin Ding Ling said, I was using a killer move to inspect luck. I found that after your killer move was activated, Fang Zheng's luck changed again. His original luck was like a hill, lush and squarish, but now it has turned into, it looks like a pot lid. Gulu Ru was very perplexed. What premonition is this? Qin Ding Ling shook her head. She was troubled too. In the short term, I cannot understand it. 2 months later. A certain news made Fang Yuan's main body stop his cultivation. I finally found out the location of Dragon Palace. Good, I have basically learned all the Qi path methods there are. I should act in advance and steal this immortal Gu house in secret before Heavenly Court does. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1826, Dragon Palace Destes. 1826 Dragon Palace Destes. Above the blue ocean surface, waves were rumbling. With the ebb and flow of tides, seagulls were flying above in the sky. Plop. With a soft sound, a Gu immortal dived into the water, swimming deeper. 1,000 feet, 10,000 feet, 100,000 feet. The sea was extremely deep. There was a large number of fierce sea beasts living here. After reaching 1,000,000 feet deep, immemorial level sea beasts started to appear. Of course, there were precious treasures here as well. Eastern Sea is truly the #1 in the 5 regions in terms of resources. The Gu immortal sighed as he continued to dive deeper. After reaching 10 million feet, in the abyss-like darkness of the sea, there was a beautiful and colorful dream realm. As the Gu immortal got closer, the dream realm expanded within his vision. By the time he arrived, this dream realm resembled a small mountain. Dragon Palace should be here. The Gu immortal had a heated gaze. He was muscular and handsome. He had a tall nose bridge and sharp lips. He had golden dragon scales on his body. He had a pair of dragon eyes resembling topaz. There was also a pair of golden coral-like dragon horns on his head. This was Fang Yuan's Dragonman clone. Fang Yuan knew that Dragon Palace was hidden in Eastern Sea, but he did not find out where exactly it was in the previous life. Back then, Duke Long had brought Feng Jin Huang to try and subdue Dragon Palace. They were obstructed by the 4 dragon generals. Thus, a battle ensued and Dragon Palace took the chance to fly into the sky, escaping from him. Even though Duke Long chased after it, the huge commotion caused Eastern Sea's rank 8 Gu immortals to approach him. When news of this spread throughout the 5 regions, Fang Yuan had just reached a certain stage in his plan against Beast Calamity Grotto-Heaven. He was also moved and decided to head to Eastern Sea. Eventually, he was discovered and did not gain anything. And in the River of Time, the second Stone Lotus Island appeared. Fang Yuan made his decision to abandon Dragon Palace and went after the Red Lotus True Inheritance in the second Stone Lotus Island. However, even though he stopped Heavenly Court's plans, Feng Gu summoned the winds of assimilation and destroyed the Stone Lotus Island. This caused Heavenly Court to obtain Dragon Palace, suppressing it within Hidden Dragon Cave. Eastern Sea's Gu immortals were unwilling to give up. They went to cause a huge battle with Central Continent, the battle in Hidden Dragon Cave. After rebirth, Fang Yuan already included Dragon Palace in his plans. He had started planning long ago. He collected information and made deductions on this, drawing a circle around its possible area. After that, he sent subordinates to explore and investigate Eastern Sea secretly. Fang Yuan did not know where Dragon Palace was initially, but his hard work was not in vain. His efforts paid off. He found out the location of Dragon Palace recently. The Dragonman clone searched around the area. He did not find any immemorial desolate beasts around. It was a safe zone. Immortal Killer Move, Pure Dream Reality Seeker Transformation. He acted quickly, using a killer move against this dream realm. His choice was the same as Duke Long's. He wanted to isolate the dream realm and target Immortal Gu House Dragon Palace directly. And above the sky of this sea area, Fang Yuan's main body was hidden among the clouds. He was inspecting the area around him and guarding the Dragonman clone. On the other hand, he was also getting the Dragonman clone to probe the area. If any accidents happen, Fang Yuan's main body would be able to rapidly escape to safety. After all, Fang Yuan did not know the clear details regarding Dragon Palace. This was not like his plans in the River of Time and Tao Zhu's true inheritance where he had sufficient information. What if Heavenly Court ambushed him? Even if they did not, Dragon Palace itself was very dangerous. Because it had an offensive dream path killer move, Fang Yuan was quite wary against it. As pure dream reality seeker physique bodies were created one by one, the Dragon Man clone's progress remained quite successful. But this dream realm was too huge. At this rate, he would need several days and nights to completely transform it. Ignoring anything else, just the dream realm itself is a huge fortune. In the previous life, Heavenly Court obtained it, they had no way of using it. But in my hands, it is different. Fang Yuan's main body had a clear view of the situation in the sea. Next, he looked above himself. After using luck path methods, he saw the cooking luck pot that was above his head. This pot was floating above it, it moved up and down slightly, like it was floating on water. Fang Yuan could not check his own luck, but he could check the Dragon Man clone's luck. He saw that beside cooking luck pot, the purple dragon that was the Dragon Man clone's luck coiled around in the air motionlessly. It opened its mouth and had an anxious expression, it was looking around alertly. Around it, black traces of qi were gathering into a lump, forming many black clouds. This black cloud luck shows a premonition of death. It seems that the Dragon Man clone is in danger of dying. Fang Yuan frowned. He immediately made his calculations. After using rebirth, looking at the time, I have found Dragon Palace much earlier than Heavenly Court in the previous life, I acted in advance. I should be ahead of them looking at the situation, but time is moving quickly, a bad change is about to occur in a few days. In just this time, the black clouds became thicker as they surrounded the purple dragon in all directions, trying to bury and suffocate it. Fang Yuan immediately used cooking luck pot. The dragons on cooking luck pot became active as they started to devour the black clouds and spit them out into the pot. The pot started to cook the luck, boiling all of the black cloud luck into a beneficial luck instead. The luck then got devoured by the pot dragons before being sent to the purple dragon. The purple dragon received such help, it became energetic and invigorated. Even though the black clouds were still thick and overwhelming, the purple dragon no longer looked so weak against them. Fang Yuan saw this as he gasped lightly, thinking, my cooking luck pot is only rank 6 but it is the epitome of Giant Sun's self-luck true inheritance, it can control the luck of rank 6 Gu immortals and even influence rank 7 Gu immortals. Right now, my Dragon Man clone is already a rank 7 after immense nurturing, thus, it can only affect the purple dragon. But this black cloud luck. Fang Yuan frowned lightly, pondering, this black cloud luck was influenced by me but the effect is mild, this is a rank 8 level crisis. However, looking at the purple dragon's reaction, it seems to have some form of attraction to this black cloud luck. Dragons, 1, like wind and rain, while this black luck has a cloud shape, it seems that this is not only a dangerous situation for the Dragon Man clone, it is also an immense fortuitous encounter. Of course, this was all built on the foundation that Fang Yuan was not going to take action. Once Fang Yuan's main body acts, the luck would change intensely. Because Fang Yuan was not an ordinary rank 8 Gu immortal, his every action would cause a huge change to the situation. Sigh, it is too bad I cannot inspect my own luck. The self-luck true inheritance has the killer move luck inspection, from rank 1 to 9. But my luck inspection immortal Gu is only rank 6, even if I make a killer move, the killer move would be able to inspect the luck of rank 7 Gu immortals. Fang Yuan already had cooking luck pot, he also added luck inspection immortal Gu into it as one of the cores. Thus, he did not need any killer move to inspect luck, just by activating cooking luck pot, he could observe the Dragon Man clone's luck. Cooking luck pot is too low ranked. In the future, I need to advance all its core immortal Gu, I also need to add in all living beings luck, so that it can affect other people and objects. Fang Yuan planned. Even though he could use cooking luck pot to help his clones, they were the same entities as him. Thus, he was just helping himself, this was within the boundary of self-luck, it was not all living beings' luck. Fang Yuan sensed the crisis that Dragon Man clone was going to face, but he chose not to act. He controlled the situation while activating Cooking Luck Pot. Even though it was not very helpful to the purple dragon, his influence on the black cloud luck was small, but any bit of help counts. As it accumulates, the amount would be quite significant. After all, it was better than nothing. The Dragon Man clone also received the main body's information as it continued to transform the dream realm. After a day and half a night, 4 Eastern Sea Gu immortals arrived from different directions. The east one was a white-robed young-looking man with a handsome face. It was Yang Zihe. The west one was an old woman with a hunched back. She had deep wrinkles on her face that resembled the pattern of a purple venomous snake, extending from her face, to her arms and to her whole body. It was Granny Rome. The north one was a muscular Gu immortal with triangular eyes shining in cold light. It was Shimiao. The south Gu immortal wore a black robe. His face could not be seen. He was silent like an eerie ghost, filled with dark energy. This was Zhang Yin. 4 rank 8 Gu immortals came. It is them. Fang Yuan's main body did not move, because he sensed something strange from the Dragon Man clone's luck. Right now, the purple dragon luck was surrounded by a huge and thick layer of black clouds. It could not break out. But this black cloud luck was transforming slightly. There was water sounds from the east, resembling a river. From the west, there was the silhouette of a purple venomous snake. From the north, there was a mountain shape, and at the south, the cloud was dark like an abyss, forming a black hole. These 4 rank 8 Gu immortals are not normal. Their lucks are all a part of the black cloud. Are they in an alliance? Fang Yuan did not know about the 4 dragon generals of Dragon Palace, because there was no information about them in his previous life. But soon, he found out. These 4 rank 8 Gu immortals arrived before Dragon Man clone. Their cold expressions relaxed a little. He is a Dragon Man indeed. You have rank 7 cultivation level. You are qualified to participate in the test. These dream realms are your test. If you pass it, you will gain the acknowledgement of the dragon spirit and become the owner of Dragon Palace. Quickly return the dream realms. Undergo the test by exploring the dream realms, otherwise, we, the 4 dragon generals, will make sure you regret ever coming here. The 4 Eastern Sea rank 8 Gu immortals spoke one after another. While they spoke, they also revealed their Dragon Man identities. At once, be it Fang Yuan or his clone, they were both shocked. 1. Chinese dragons have the power to summon wind and rain. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1827, Controlling Ants in Dream. 1827 Controlling Ants in Dream. The Dragon Man clone's action of transforming the dream realms drew the attention of the 4 dragon generals. If he was a human Gu immortal, the 4 dragon generals would attack him together, but Fang Yuan's Dragon Man clone was a genuine Dragon Man. Be it body or soul, he was the real deal without any flaws. Thus, the 4 dragon generals exposed their identities. Fang Yuan gasped upon hearing this secret. In the previous life, he had only seen Bai Ningbing control Dragon Palace and Di Zongxing to participate in the final battle at the crucial moment. He did not see the 4 dragon generals. So these 4 rank 8 Gu immortals are servants of Dragon Palace. They were subdued by Dragon Palace and made into dragon generals. This is quite a deep scheme. Should I take action personally? Fang Yuan had countless thoughts as he quickly deduced. With his current strength, he had a high chance of dealing with all 4 rank 8 Gu immortals at the same time. Fang Yuan's strongest methods were Chi Path now. Just the number of Chi Path Dao marks alone were far beyond any of these 4 Eastern Sea rank 8s. But they are still rank 8 Gu immortals. Even though I can win and even kill them, there would be a huge commotion. I cannot gain victory quickly. Looking at the fight between Duke Long and these 4, Immortal Gu House Dragon Palace also can act on its own. It is able to fly and escape. If I try to fight them forcefully, it might not end up well. I will be in the same state as Duke Long in the previous life. Fang Yuan immediately deduced the most likely outcome. He had come here to take Dragon Palace in secret. if he caused a huge commotion and exposed his rank 8 cultivation level as well as his chi path battle strength, it would not sit well with his other plans. Fang Yuan thought of this as he looked at the cooking luck pot above him. The purple dragon was completely submerged by the black clouds, but it was excitedly grinding its teeth, waiting to take action. Especially when there was a trace of azure purple, chi vaguely inside this black cloud. These traces of azure purple luck are extremely noble and profound. It shows that the Dragonman clone has a chance of becoming the owner of Dragon Palace. The Dragonman clone only has rank 7 cultivation level while the 4 generals are rank 8, they did not discover my presence so it is unlikely they are lying to me. If the Dragonman clone follows the rules and explores the dream realms, after passing, I will obtain Dragon Palace as well as these 4 rank 8 Gu immortal subordinates. It seems that Dragon Palace is truly an enslavement path immortal Gu house. It can enslave 4 rank 8 battle strength experts at once, truly amazing. According to the information of my previous life, I still have a lot of time. Thinking so, Fang Yuan's main body decided to wait and let the clone explore the dream realms, participating in the test. This was the most beneficial method. The Dragonman clone was secretly informed by the main body to return the dream realms. This action made the 4 dragon generals show more amicable expressions. Granny Rong said, to participate in the Dragon Palace test, your soul and body needs to enter the dream realms, you need to have the courage to risk everything in order to become the Dragon Palace Lord. The Dragonman clone's expression changed mildly, but considering that the main body was watching and guarding him from the sky, he nodded his head and entered the dream realms. Once he entered the dream, he immediately landed in an area of deep darkness. Wu Shuai, wake up, wake up. A person beside the Dragonman clone nudged him. The Dragonman clone opened his eyes, seeing a young dragon girl. She was innocent and cute, showing a look of helplessness. Why are you still sleeping? Everyone is waiting for you. Don't forget that today is the day we arranged the battle with stakes against Chen Fu and Zhang Xuan. So my name is Wu Shuai. I have rank 3 Gu Master Cultivation level. The Dragonman clone quickly inspected his own body condition. Quickly, let's go. The dragon girl could not wait, seeing that Fang Yuan opened his eyes, she quickly dragged him along. They sprinted until they finally arrived at the school field. 2 groups of people were already gathered in the school field, they were separated into the east and west group, facing each other with a clear line in between. The west group consisted of young humans, both male and female, their leaders carried the arrogance of human youngsters. The east group were young dragonmen, they were fewer in numbers and had no leader now, they were currently being pressured by the humans. Seeing that Fang Yuan was here, the dragonman youngsters became very excited, some were cheering while others chided him for being late. Wu Shuai, you finally showed up, I thought you were too scared and did not dare to come. Over at the human side, one of the 2 youngster leaders shouted. The dragon girl that brought Fang Yuan over immediately retorted, don't be arrogant Chen Fu, now that Wu Shuai is here, he will beat you all to a pulp. Cut the crap, Wu Shuai, let's fight. This time, I will make sure I repay you for the humiliation of losing last time. The other youngster Gu master, Zhang Xuan, stood up, he was clearly impatient, he wanted to fight straight away. Wait. Fang Yuan stretched out his hand, stalling for time, since this is a battle with stakes, where is the bet? He said as he assessed the school. This school field was not simple at all, it was covered by an immortal formation. This meant that Fang Yuan was not in an ordinary place, since there was an immortal formation here, this was likely a super force. Furthermore, Fang Yuan was currently at an important place in this super force's territory, creating an immortal formation at a school field meant that it was of great importance. Looking at the clothing of both parties which was very alike, this was clearly a sect. This wager is clearly the impulse of youths. These youngsters have at least rank 2 cultivation level, looking at them, they must have only started recently, their talent is really high. I have the highest cultivation level, along with the 2 human leaders, Zhang Xuan and Chen Fu, they also have rank 3 cultivation level, we are all young geniuses. Below that is this dragon girl beside me, she has rank 2 peak cultivation level. Wu Shuai, don't look down on me, I have already brought the betting item, look. Chen Fu said as he carefully took out a gu worm from his pocket. Fang Yuan took a glance, it was a rank 5 gu, called Commanding Leader Gu. Commanding Leader Gu looked like a longhorn beetle. The longhorn beetle had a long and cylindrical body, its back was slightly flat and there were 2 long feelers on its head. This Commanding Leader Gu was similar, its body had a jade-like texture, its feelers were very long, more than 10 times its body length, they were like 2 long red ropes. The Dragon Man clone was slightly surprised. Fang Yuan had many immortal gu, he did not care much about mortal gu. But this Commanding Leader Gu was different, it was a mortal gu but it was a human path gu worm with enslavement path effect, it had once gained huge fame in history but quickly went extinct. According to rumors, Commanding Leader Gu had a great effect, it was also compatible with many types of gu worms. Fang Yuan's Dragon Man clone shared the same attainment level as his main body. Fang Yuan had Human Path Grandmaster and Enslavement Path Master attainment levels, the Dragon Man clone was the same. At Master attainment level, one could generate intuition regarding the path. Right now, the Dragon Man clone had a clear intuition, as long as I pass this scene, I will get the recipe of Commanding Leader Gu. No wonder my purple dragon luck wanted to try it. This enslavement path dream realm is a huge fortuitous encounter after all. Thinking of this, the Dragon Man clone became even more excited. While he was on the way, he had already checked what gu worms Wu Shuai had, he had already prepared some methods that he could use. As for how the battle worked, he did not know. Immediately, Fang Yuan smiled as he said, in that case, let's do it. In fact, I will give you the first move. Zhang Shuang heard this as rage appeared on his youthful face, good, Wu Shuai, you are so arrogant, how dare you look down on me, I will show you. He took out 10 or so primeval stones and scattered them around the school field. The school field itself was an immortal formation, after the primeval stones landed on it, they got devoured by the ground like rocks falling into water. Next, ants started to dig their way out of the ground. Zhang Shuang stared widely as he used his method to manipulate these ants. The Dragon Man clone was shocked, these are not ordinary ants, they have some natural markings on their body that resemble human language characters. Is this the legendary army ant? Dragon Man was not a natural variant human race, it was man-made. The army ants and the Dragon Man were quite similar, they were not produced by nature but created by Gu immortal great experts. This type of army ant was used by enslavement path Gu masters, they were able to resolve the feeding problem to a large degree. A small number of army ants could be used for daily training, while a large group of army ants could form an ant tide with colossal power. Zhang Shuang had good strength, he quickly enslaved 10 or so yellow ants. At this time, new ants came out of the ground, they were slightly larger than the ants before, being black in color. Zhang Shuang was overjoyed and quickly focused his attention on refining these black ants. The yellow ants had this word naturally carved on them, worker. The black ants had this word naturally carved on them, soldier. Seeing this, the Dragon Man youths became anxious while the Dragon Girl beside Fang Yuan shook his shoulders, Brother Wu Shuai, start quickly. If we lose this duel, you will lose your vital gu. The other party is shameless, he already has more than 10 worker ants and 3 soldier ants. Alright. Fang Yuan smiled, he sat on the ground and focused his attention on these ants. He activated a killer move, it used sight to enslave ants, the effect was incredible. After a few breaths, dozens of ants on the ground gathered by Fang Yuan's side. Among them were worker ants and soldier ants. This result quickly overtook Zhang Shuang. The human youths shouted in shock while the Dragon Man youths were stunned before cheering loudly and excitedly. Zhang Shuang looked at Fang Yuan in disbelief, seeing that Fang Yuan's ants were multiplying in number rapidly, many times his own, his face turned pale as paper. I lost. Zhang Shuang was straightforward, but what killer move is this? The killer move was very powerful and profound, and even more importantly, Fang Yuan's soul foundation was very deep, far greater than mortal Gu masters, not to mention this youngster. Fang Yuan did not know the name of the move he had just created casually, he avoided it, since you lost, where is the bet? Zhang Shuang snorted coldly, placing commanding leader Gu in Fang Yuan's hands as he turned around and left. Chen Fu had an ashen expression as he left his parting words before going. Wu Shuai, to think that you are so devious, secretly learning a powerful enslavement path killer move, don't be too smug, we will definitely challenge you in this again. Yay! We won, Wu Shuai, you are amazing. As expected of Wu Shuai. Huh, they were so funny. Zhang Shuang and Chen Fu had ugly expressions earlier. Fang Yuan smiled. He was about to respond to the youths here when he suddenly saw their expressions freezing. They all looked behind Fang Yuan with stiff expressions. Father! They called out quietly. Fang Yuan turned around and saw a dragon man Gu immortal staring at him with a deep and dark gaze. Fang Yuan was shocked. Duke Long. 1. Ancient high-ranking officials have ribbons/sashes/belts of this color, thus it signifies royalty and high status. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1828, Talk between Father and Son. 1828 Talk between Father and Son. Observing closely, the Dragon Man clone realized. Even though it was a Dragon Man Gu immortal who appeared in front of him, it was not Duke Long, they only looked similar. Even so, this person likely has a close relationship with Duke Long. I wonder if this person is the father of my character in the dream realm. Fang Yuan was thinking when the Dragon Man Gu immortal arrived. Wu Shuai. You are too daring, I told you so many times to not create trouble, don't provoke them. But you actually won against them again. Do you know that Zhang Shuang and Chen Fu are bloodline descendants of supreme elders of our sect? The Dragon Man Gu immortal that resembled Duke Long had a stern expression, his eyes were almost spewing fire. The young dragon men who were still cheering earlier became silent, they did not dare to say anything, they looked down at their feet. This showed how high this person's status was in their hearts, he was normally strict on them. Fang Yuan was not sure of his relationship with this Dragon Man Gu immortal, he had to mimic these youngsters and keep silent. The Dragon Man Gu immortal got more furious as he knocked on the back of Fang Yuan's head with his palm, the force almost pushed him to the ground. Fang Yuan stumbled forward for a step but regained his balance quickly. Wu Shuai, follow me, come to the study room for your punishment. The Dragon Man Gu immortal snorted coldly, turning around and leaving. Fang Yuan took a glance at these Dragon Man youngsters, they all looked at Fang Yuan with sympathy, guilt, and schadenfreude. It seems that I can only follow this Dragon Man Gu immortal. Fang Yuan thought as he quickly followed after the Gu immortal. After a few steps, the surrounding world changed rapidly. At the next moment, Fang Yuan found himself in a study room. The study room was huge, there were beautiful flower vases here, the study table was about 10 feet long, there was ink and paper on it, at the center, there was calligraphy of 3 words, Long Xing Tian. Is this Dragon Man Gu immortal's name Long Xing Tian? No, there is still some space at the end for one final word. Fang Yuan had a thought. Right at this moment, he heard a stern shout beside him, unfilial son, kneel down right now. Fang Yuan raised his head and saw that the Dragon Man Gu immortal was standing behind the desk, staring at him with a cold and strict expression. Fang Yuan rolled his eyes internally as he thought, you should have said that earlier, I would be able to confirm your identity. Immediately, he knelt down without hesitation with a loud sound. The Dragon Man Gu immortal was stunned for a moment before smiling coldly, your attitude has really improved this time in apologizing, huh? Father, your words are reasonable. I was too young and ignorant, I did not know your intentions, please forgive me. Fang Yuan immediately gave a perfunctory speech but had a vivid expression that made people feel a sense of sincerity. The Dragon Man Gu immortal was stunned again before his smile became even colder, humph. Acting obedient while having other intentions, you dare to lie to me. You deserve a beating. Saying so, he took the paperweight on the table and used it to whack Fang Yuan. The paperweight was made of metal, it was long and hard, thick and heavy. It was originally used to hold down the paper and straighten it. The paper on the desk was about the size of a door plaque, one could imagine how big the paperweight was. This paperweight hit Fang Yuan's back, it caused intense pain, his soul foundation fell by a huge amount. But Fang Yuan could not resist. In this dream realm, he was not the Dragon Man Gu immortal's match. But Fang Yuan was very crafty, he fell to the ground as he got hit, his forehead landed on the ground and created a dull sound. He grunted as he knelt and straightened his back, he gritted his teeth and endured the pain, but showed a look of desperately holding back the pain. The Dragon Man Gu immortal was the father of this person after all. Seeing this, he had a thought, did I hit him with excessive force earlier? Sigh. He sighed deeply, sitting down on his chair, looking at his kneeling son across the table. He said with deep emotions, Wu Shuai, you are my most outstanding son, your enslavement path talent is rarely seen in 100 years. I spent so much effort to nurture and teach you, I want you to succeed in life. But you went ahead and forgot all of my teachings. How many times have I told you to not argue with those people? You are a genius, you have superior insight than the people of your age. I've already described the current situation to you, the higher-ups of the sect are increasingly unhappy with our Dragon Man race which is getting stronger. Even though I am a supreme elder that has seemingly great status, I am pushed aside by them. Even though you defeated Chen Fu and Zhang Xuan, you also infuriated the Gu immortals behind them. These human Gu immortals will not show me any good attitude, they will become even stricter against the Dragon Man race. Even though you won this time, you harmed the entire Dragon Man race's benefits and intensified the sect's conflicts. You are too rash, you do not consider the consequences when you do something. I am truly disappointed in you. I am beating you for your own good, for the sake of the Dragon Man race and the peace of the sect. Do you understand my intentions? Fang Yuan wanted to reply, understood, but he took a look at the Dragon Man Gu immortal's expression and his heart shook. The Dragon Man Gu immortal might have a gentle gaze, but a cold icy feeling was in the depths of his heart. Only someone like Fang Yuan who was aged and experienced could sense it clearly. Instantly, Fang Yuan became incredibly alert, he thought rapidly as all sorts of clues appeared in his mind. In this dream realm exploration, even though the main body was outside, his soul and body had entered the dream, he could not afford to fail once. If he failed, he would lose the qualification to become the Dragon Palace Lord, he might even die. Of course, the main body would not do nothing, but in that case, when the main body fights, he would face the same situation as Duke Long, the commotion would be huge. To obtain the greatest benefit, Fang Yuan was willing to take this risk, so he had to be very careful with every step. This question seems simple but it might be the key to this scene, if I answer wrongly, I will fail. My analysis should not be wrong. I will go ahead with this. Thinking of this, a sharp dagger-like light flashed in Fang Yuan's eyes. He raised his head and looked at the Dragon Man Gu immortal, his expression changed as he smiled, I am grateful for your concern, father. But father, you are willing to hold back and endure it for the big picture, I do not agree with that at all. Unfilial son. You are unrepentant. The Dragon Man Gu immortal was enraged, he stood up and grabbed the paperweight again. Fang Yuan quickly added, I know you want to beat me, even if you beat me to death, I will not hate you at all. But father, your action of giving in and showing subservience is not helping the big picture, you are harming the entire Dragon Man race. The Dragon Man Gu immortal's eyes were spewing fire, he held the paperweight and pointed at Fang Yuan, shouting loudly, such guts. You dare to accuse your father of being wrong. Good, I'll give you a chance, tell me, how am I wrong? Fang Yuan felt even more certainty now, he said slowly, father. Must our Dragon Man race always put ourselves at a lower status than humans? We have talent and aptitude, we are born with enslavement path Dao marks, what do the humans have? We do not necessarily need Gu worms, our bodies alone give us great stamina, strength, and recovery. Our bodies are tough and sturdy, our claws and teeth are sharp, while humans are weak and fragile. And in terms of lifespan, our lifespan is tens or hundreds of times of humans. As we continue to live, the humans of our age will die one by one. Even without us doing anything, they will all die of old age. We Dragon Man are born with such superiority, and even rarer is our unity, we recognize each other and trust each other, we are not like the humans who turn on each other and enjoy internal conflict. Father, everybody can see your contribution to the sect. I won this duel, but should I really have lost on purpose? On what basis do these humans look down on us? How dare they treat us so badly? We Dragonman deserve a greater status. In fact, these normal people should rank below us Dragonmen. Insolent, you are too insolent. The Dragonman Gu Immortal flew into a rage. He quickly walked past the table as he waved the paperweight in his hand, almost about to hit Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan suddenly stood up abruptly. He had tears in his eyes as he shouted at the Dragonman Gu Immortal, "Father! I am unresigned, I refuse to accept this. Even if you beat me to death, I will never agree to this, I will not submit." Wu Shuai. The Dragonman Gu Immortal walked to Fang Yuan, looked down at this youngster. His bloodshot eyes were staring straight at him, but his paperweight did not hit. Fang Yuan had no fear. He looked at the Dragonman Gu Immortal directly as his eyes also spewed fire. It was the deep anger and hatred in his heart. Both father and son looked at each other for a while. After the Dragonman Gu Immortal confirmed something, he threw the paperweight in his hand away. He grabbed Fang Yuan's shoulders with both hands as he shook his son, laughing loudly. "Wu Shuai, you are truly my precious son. I was not wrong about you. Father? You." Fang Yuan was stunned. His expression contained suspicion and shock that seemed extremely natural. "I will tell you the truth, I think the same as you. I was trying to probe you earlier, I was unable to speak the truth, there is a reason behind all this." The Dragonman Gu Immortal sighed deeply. "What do you mean? Father, do you mean that?" Fang Yuan seemed to have reacted as his eyes shined with delight and surprise. It was as if he had just understood what happened but did not dare to believe it. His expression was precise and flawless. But internally, he sighed in relief. This was it after all, my analysis was right. Within the sect, the conflict between the Dragonmen and humans is intensifying. We can see this from just the youngsters' conflict. That school field earlier was an important area with an immortal formation. The sect higher-ups must have sensed something. If the Dragonman Gu Immortal wanted to endure it, why would he not know of it? Why would he arrive after it ended? Looking at this study room, the furniture is huge and placed in a grand fashion. This displays the Dragonman Gu Immortal's huge ambition in full view. He called me Wu Shuai in front of the youngster Dragonmen but called me unfilial son when we got to the study room. He was saving my reputation. He wants to nurture me into his assistant, his successor. Thinking so, Fang Yuan finally understood the workings of this dream realm and the intentions of Dragon Palace in holding this test. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1829, Green Ant Recruiting Disciple. 1829 Green Ant Recruiting Disciple. Eastern Sea. Fang Yuan's main body, which was hidden within the clouds, had a change of expression. "Oh. My clone's luck transformed again." Fang Yuan took a look at the huge and dense black cloud luck beside cooking luck pot. Within the black cloud luck, 4 different phenomena that represented the 4 rank 8 Gu Immortals defended this black cloud luck. The purple dragon luck of Fang Yuan's clone was surrounded by the black cloud luck. It was growling inside. The purple dragon was more energetic now. Traces of azure purple luck continued to be converted from the black cloud luck as it entered the dragon's body. With this boost, the purple dragon expanded in size. Its claws and teeth also became sharper. The most evident change was that this dragon was originally lying down in a circular manner, but now, it stretched its body and took the initiative to attack. It started to probe the black cloud luck. From motionless to active with greater morale, it seems that my clone has made a breakthrough in the dream realm. He knows how to act now, so he has the initiative. This is a good thing. It is a pity that I cannot use luck path methods to help my clone anymore. If the Dragonman clone went in with his soul only and his body was outside, Fang Yuan could still barely send him good luck. But now, the Dragonman clone went inside with both body and soul, completely isolated by the dream realms. All luck path methods were kept out of range. Fang Yuan's main body was helpless too, unless he could take away some of the dream realms and expose the Dragonman clone's body. Or in the future, when his dream path research results gets to a higher level and Fang Yuan learns how to mix luck path with dream path, he would be able to target the dream realm's concealment. The dream realm continued. Dragon Man clone analyzed the surroundings clearly and considered his options. Because of his heartfelt declaration, his father recognized him and he passed the second scene of the dream realm. However, he needed to probe for more information. Within the study room, Fang Yuan asked, "Father, since we are on the same side, can you tell me how we can make the Dragon Man race prosper? I am sure Father has a plan, please teach me." The Dragon Man Gu Immortal smiled, "We have a plan since long ago. I will tell you the truth, not only me but many of our Dragon Man comrades are working together. But you cannot learn of their identities yet, this is to protect them and also yourself. The first step to any great plan is secrecy. It is easier to work in secret than acting openly." "I understand that." Fang Yuan nodded, but he asked again, "But any great plan would have a resolution, right?" "Our resolution is this." The Dragon Man Gu Immortal smiled as he lifted his pen, writing the final word of the paper on this table, Xia. When put together with the first three words, it made up the phrase, 1. Dragons roam the world. Fang Yuan's eyes shined with bright light. The Dragon Man Gu Immortal suddenly let out a breath, it cut the paper like a sharp blade. The Dragon Man Gu Immortal took a small portion of the paper and passed it to Fang Yuan. There was only one word on it, Xia. The remaining Long Xing Tian was burned to ashes by the Dragon Man Gu Immortal. He waved his sleeves and incinerated the paper. The Dragon Man Gu Immortal looked at the ashes on the table as he sighed, "One day, our Dragon Man race will soar the heavens, the world will be beneath our feet. But now, humanity is incredibly strong, they are the overlords of the world. Looking at the situation, our Dragon Man race is too weak and small, we do not have any alliances with variant humans in the outside world, while we are still a subordinate force of the humans ourselves. To soar the heavens, we need to ascend first. Right now, we need to endure our position below the humans, to accumulate and gather foundation. Our Dragon Man race has just been created, our foundation is too thin, but thankfully, because we were born from humans, our relationship to them is also the deepest. Especially in Central Continent, we have members in all 10 great ancient sections. We need to learn and accumulate our foundation to catch up to the humans." Fang Yuan continued asking, "Then what should I do?" The Dragon Man Gu Immortal smiled, "You are already contributing now. When you were a child, I saw your potential and purposely nurtured you to be an enslavement path Gu Master. Now that your enslavement path attainment is already decent, I have made plans for you to attend Green Ant Ascetic's disciple recruitment ceremony." Green Ant Ascetic? Fang Yuan purposely acted unaware, but his heart shook as he thought of a name, Ascetic Wine Couple. These two were husband and wife, a famous lone immortal great expert couple in Central Continent's history. The man was called Green Ant Ascetic while the woman was called Wine Fairy. The two of them were childhood friends, they were extremely close. They were originally mortals but had their own immortal opportunities. Because of a disaster, they were forced to separate when they were still youths, but they missed each other and thought the other was dead. After becoming Gu Immortals, neither the male nor the female thought of marrying anyone. Thanks to a coincidence, they met one day and fell into disbelief and joy, it was like a dream come true. After talking to each other about their situation, the woman told the man, "I remember that you enjoyed playing with mud and ants when you were a kid." The man also laughed, "When we were young, your family operated a tavern, your life was much better than mine. You went to the streets and alleys to sell the wine that you carried on a pole, I accompanied you by your side during that time, I wish we could continue that forever." Thus, the man called himself Green Ant Ascetic while the woman also changed her title to Wine Fairy. The two possessed great talent and morals, after becoming a couple, they lived in harmony and bliss. The Dragon Man Gu Immortal continued, Green Ant Ascetic had once lost a bet with Hongzhen of the 10 great ancient sects, he agreed to recruit a disciple and let them inherit his legacy. The time for the agreement is now, but the 10 great ancient sects have no proper candidate, because the Gu Immortal Hongzhen who had caused this event died from tribulation long ago. Green Ant Ascetic is a human great expert who is a lone cultivator. If you can become his only disciple, not only would you get to learn enslavement path methods, you would also build a relationship with the ascetic wine couple. When the Dragon Man race faces difficulty in the future, these two rank 8 great experts would be a huge help. So that's it, I understand now. Fang Yuan paused before continuing, I will work hard and become the disciple of Green Ant Ascetic. The Dragon Man Gu Immortal nodded. Good, the ceremony is at the start of next month, you will enter closed cultivation now as I teach and train you personally. The second scene faded away, the third scene started. High in the mountains, fog and clouds shrouded the air. In a bamboo forest, in front of a thatched hut on the empty land, the younger generation members of the 10 great ancient sects were standing. These were all young geniuses with great talent, they were here to fight for the position of green antiseptic's disciple. Fang Yuan was slightly dazed, he observed the surroundings and found himself among the youths. However, most of the human youngsters avoided him subconsciously, there were only 2 Dragon Man youngsters around him. At the center of the empty area, 2 young Gu masters were fighting. Fang Yuan recognized one of them, he thought, isn't that Zhang Shuang? Right now, Zhang Shuang was at a disadvantage, he was fighting against a girl with yellow eyebrows, she had beautiful features and shining eyes that had double pupils. Fang Yuan had just arrived in the third scene, he did not know the situation, he quickly probed, what do you guys think? The 2 Dragon Man youngsters beside him heard this, the left one with azure scales said, Wu Shuai, you are looking down on us. Even though we were eliminated and only you are left in this competition, the situation is very obvious, Zhang Shuang is going to lose in a few more exchanges of moves. The azure-scaled Dragon Man youngster was a little proud and spoke in a cold tone. But the yellow-scaled youngster had a more gentle tone as he consoled, Qin Swan, don't act like this, victory is victory, loss is loss. Since you were defeated, why take issue? Brother Wu Shuai is not asking this to humiliate you. The azure-scaled youngster Qin Swan was indignant, he gritted his teeth, those humans are too devious, knowing that I am strong, they sent 3 humans to fight me in succession, causing my strength to fall greatly before that Tai Qin defeated me easily. Huang Wei, don't tell me you couldn't tell. The yellow-scaled youngster sighed, why would I not know? We were both obstructed, but the truth is that we lacked strength. If we were like brother Wu Shuai, so what if they tried to obstruct us? He still made it into the finals. Fang Yuan listened as he thought, the azure-scaled youngster is called Qin Swan while the yellow-scaled one is called Huang Wei, meanwhile, I am already in the finals. At this time, Huang Wei said, Brother Wu Shuai, I truly admire your enslavement path attainment. But your next opponent is not simple, Tai Qin has extraordinary strength, she is on par with you. But you have already gone through many rounds of tough competition to get to this point. Meanwhile, she was basically given free passes every round to reach this stage until she met with the strong opponent Zhang Shuang. Fang Yuan understood now, the yellow brows double pupils girl, Tai Qin, was his next opponent. He had a heavy mood. Because after some observation, he had some evaluation, this Tai Qin is an enslavement path master, she mobilizes her troops without thinking in many situations, only relying on instinct but it still produces outstanding effects, she is a tough foe. Fang Yuan's enslavement path attainment level was only at master. He felt a little regret now, had he known this, his main body would have raised his enslavement path attainment level in preparation for this. But nobody could predict that such a situation would happen. I lost. After a while, Zhang Shuang had a pale expression as he cupped his fists shakily. It was an honor. The young girl Qin responded with a cold expression, before her eyes turned to look at Fang Yuan fixedly. And at the final round. Fang Yuan slowly walked up. He walked past Zhang Shuang who had a complex expression. He wanted to encourage Fang Yuan as they were from the same sect, but thinking about his Dragon Man identity, he only opened his mouth but did not speak. After resting for a while, both sides started to fight. The youngsters surrounded them as they watched the battle closely. Ants started to emerge from the ground one by one. 1. Considering the language differences, I'll leave the words in pinyin but this is what they mean. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1830, Battle Using Ants. 1830 Battle Using Ants. Fang Yuan immediately used his full strength to enslave these ants. Tai Qin did the same. These ants were created by green ant ascetic, the content of his disciple recruitment competition was obviously to test the ant manipulation abilities of the participants. After Fang Yuan controlled 38 worker ant and 6 soldier ants, he willed as they attacked Tai Qin with full force. Tai Qin had more than 30 worker ants and 5 soldier ants. She chose a different tactic to Fang Yuan. She made the worker ants build an ant nest while the soldier ants protected them. Fang Yuan's troops had a little advantage. He also acted very aggressively. The youngsters watching all gasped in shock. Tai Qin frowned, flustered. Why is this Dragonman youngster Wu Shuai acting like a different person? He is so aggressive. She quickly mobilized her troops, diverting the worker ants from the ant nest to move out while the soldier ants defended the place, trying to prevent their hard work from getting destroyed. Soon, both sides clashed in an intense battle. To think that this would happen so early on. Wu Shuai's tactic is different from before. He is taking too huge of a risk. That's right, as long as Tai Qin defends herself from this attack, her advantage would be huge. Wu Shuai did not build any ant nest, but Tai Qin has one. Their power levels will be different. It will depend on their ant manipulation skill now. Because now is still early, just the difference of 1 or 2 ants will decide who gains victory here. Even though Wu Shuai is strong, Tai Qin also has deep foundation. They are equally matched. In my opinion, Tai Qin has a higher chance of winning. How could Wu Shuai act so rashly? However, a moment later, the temporary victor was decided. Tai Qin lost a bit more of her troops. She retreated slightly as Fang Yuan's side pressured towards her. How could this be? Wu Shuai actually won against Tai Qin. Tai Qin made a mistake. She did not. Tai Qin is performing normally, but Wu Shuai has exceeded his usual standards. Did he use any enslavement path methods, or is he at this level normally? No wonder he had the confidence to attack directly. Tai Qin had a grim expression. While retreating, Fang Yuan killed more of her ants in the process. By the time she retreated into the incomplete ant nest, she only had 12 ants left. It was a sad situation. Of course, Fang Yuan was merely in a slightly better situation. The ant nest had several routes. Tai Qin was clear about her own nest situation. She stationed troops at the crucial positions while diverting some attention to enslave more ants outside. Fang Yuan had a change of thought. He did not attack abruptly. Now that the enemy was completely trapped, they had nowhere to go. Fang Yuan was not sure about the design of this ant nest. If he attacked now, his troops would not be useful. Thus, he sent them to guard the entrances and encircled the ant nest before he used enslavement path killer moves to enslave the ants outside. Ants continued to emerge from the ground. First were worker ants, followed by soldier ants, and finally, arrow ants. Arrow ants could shoot out sharp spikes from their mouth. After shooting 3 spikes, they would be weak. They would not be able to fight even a worker ant. But even so, arrow ants were strong. A small number of them could defeat a larger army. If one had a large number of them, when they shoot together in a battle, the power would be overwhelming. Both sides will definitely compete to get these arrow ants. Indeed, if Tai Qin gets these arrow ants, she would be able to use them to kill the enemy ants guarding the entrance. That way, the troops inside can come out and counterattack. Even though Wu Shuai has the upper hand, the situation is not certain now. He can easily lose. It is a pity. If armor ants appeared instead of arrow ants, Wu Shuai would be able to use them to charge and advance into the ant nest, destroying it. The youngsters went into an endless discussion. The two sides were competing in the most popular game of the generation, ant manipulation. At the start, worker ants and soldier ants would show up, but after that, the types of ants would be random. With the emergence of these new ants, not only would the enslavement attainment of both sides be tested, the Gu master's understanding of ants would also be evaluated, as well as their management of the overall situation. Fang Yuan and Tai Qin went all out, but he had the advantage still. The youngsters saw this and were unable to believe it. This battle area has a Gu formation. The ants closer to the competitor are easier to enslave. Tai Qin is enslaving ants near her while Wu Shuai is doing it to ants far away from himself. How could he possibly still have the advantage? Is this Wu Shuai's real strength? How strong is he? We worked together to weaken him earlier, to think that he still had such strength left. Isn't he tired at all? If this was really Wu Shuai, he might feel tired, but Fang Yuan was not. Fang Yuan had just entered the dream realm, he was in a good condition, especially his soul, it was created as the main body's split soul. Afterwards, even though it was turned into a dragon man's soul and had not undergone soul cultivation, the foundation was still much deeper beyond ordinary people. Soul foundation directly affected enslavement path. For example, Fang Yuan's main body was unable to capture many immemorial year beasts before the Battle of Southern Borders ambush, but now he could capture more than 20. In the Battle of Arrow Ants, Tai Qin lost. The arrow ants that she had diverted attention to enslave were all wiped out. Fang Yuan not only had arrow ants, he also had worker ants and soldier ants, they cooperated with his arrow ants perfectly. Tai Qin's troops were diverted into two, making her end up in a passive situation. But thankfully, the arrow ants were not outstanding on offensive when they were in terrain like the ant nest with many tunnels and paths. Even though I gained some advantage, it is not outstanding, especially when Tai Qin has been using her worker ants to build the ant nest rapidly in this period of time. Even though Fang Yuan was acting aggressively, he was actually using the most stable method to achieve victory. Battle tactics were usually built on the foundation that one understands their enemies well. Next, as long as armor ants appear, I will be able to attack and destroy the ant nest. Even if other types of ants appear, as long as they are not the cannon ants, I will be able to obtain victory with my advantage in numbers. Fang Yuan was assured of his victory. He had a high chance of winning, the humans youngsters watching were not willing to see it happen, but they had no choice but to admit it was happening. Dragon Man Wu Shuai is going to succeed. To think that this competition would end up like this. To think that Wu Shuai concealed so much strength, he is truly formidable. Sigh. It is a pity that the great green ant ascetic's enslavement path inheritance is going to a dragon man. Tai Qin had a stern expression, staring at the battle area without blinking. She also recognized that she was about to fail, but she did not want to give up. She gritted her teeth as she had an intense thought, if I lose to a dragon man like Wu Shuai, I might as well have lost to Zhang Shuang earlier. I cannot lose, I don't want to lose. At this time, clouds started to form on the battle area, they quickly condensed into lumps of green clouds. A few breaths of time later, acid rain started to fall from these green clouds. Fang Yuan's gaze turned cold while the youngsters gasped. This change did not occur on the ants but the battle area instead. If an earthquake occurs, Tai Qin would lose without Wu Shuai doing anything. If any other change occurred, the situation would be unchanged. But this acid rain. Indeed, Tai Qin's ants are all inside the nest while Wu Shuai's troops are exposed to the acid rain's corrosion. Wu Shuai has started to build his nest. It is too late, this acid rain gave Tai Qin a chance for a comeback, Wu Shuai's advantage that was created by taking a risk is all gone. Tai Qin was aided by the acid rain and got past her state of complete disadvantage. Fang Yuan had to pull back his troops and build a nest to hide from the acid rain. After the acid rain, even though the armor ants appeared, no matter how many Fang Yuan enslaved, he still lost the best opportunity. But after a while, Fang Yuan used his deep soul foundation to suppress Tai Qin, he won a few small battles and accumulated enough advantage to force Tai Qin into a corner, edging towards defeat. A huge battle was about to start, Tai Qin gathered her remaining forces to resist stubbornly when suddenly, an ant queen appeared. To subdue a wild ant queen, the Gu master needs to use enslavement path methods and also beat the ant queen with the troops until it submits. But this ant queen appeared in the middle of Tai Qin's forces. Fang Yuan immediately attacked, but no matter how large his army was, he could not break through Tai Qin's last few defensive lines. Tai Qin gave it her all and used methods that carried backlash to herself but finally subdued the ant queen. Even though the ant queen was injured, it had a special power to allow ally ants to move faster, have higher defense, and attack more fiercely, her overall strength increased greatly as a result. Fang Yuan's ants were not powered up, even though he had a larger army, they were all cannon fodder. After failing to take her down for a long time, Fang Yuan chose to retreat wisely, he left behind some troops to stall Tai Qin. After the first ant queen appears, more would follow. Soon, new ant queens appeared and got captured by both sides. As such, the battle between them went into a deadlock again. As the number of ants that both sides controlled increased, more ant nests were built, the battle area became dominated by both sides as their troops fought intensely. Tai Qin had a pale expression, so did Fang Yuan. However, with his rich experience, he gradually gained the upper hand. Rumble. Right when Fang Yuan was about to deal the decisive blow, an earthquake happened as Fang Yuan faced a devastating loss. Most of his ant nests were destroyed. Even though Tai Qin faced the same situation, she had fewer nests to begin with, her losses were smaller. Both sides were evenly matched again. The youngsters went into a commotion again. It happened again. Whenever she gets into a disadvantage, changes occur to help Tai Qin. Isn't Tai Qin's luck too good? It has happened 3 times already. Is someone cheating? How can that be? This area was set up by Green Ant Ascetic personally. If Tai Qin could cheat, she would have won already. Fang Yuan's gaze turned colder. This is trouble, he thought. According to his luck, even if he lost the connection to the main body, he would not be this unlucky. The most likely possibility is that this dream realm requires me to lose. I cannot defeat Tai Qin. Thus, whenever I am about to win, a change would occur and cause me to lose my chance of victory. Then should I hold back and just lose? In usual times, he would do this to probe the situation. But now, the Dragon Man clone only had one chance. If he guessed wrong, he would be giving up this test. In that case, the Dragon Man clone would be trapped in the dream realm, his main body would need to take action. The main body would fight the 4 dragon generals, he would lose control of the situation, Dragon Palace would fly away. Fang Yuan's plan would end up fruitless. What should he do? If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible.